There's always a grotesque effort by some in our society to use the suffering of others to advance their own extreme political agenda. And you know the people I'm talking about. As I've said before, the greatest danger to America is not our enemies from the outside, as powerful as they may be, and they get more and more powerful because we allowed that to happen. The greatest danger to America is the destruction of our nation from the people from within. They are knowingly spinning a fake and phony narrative in a chilling attempt to weaponize the justice system against their political opponents. They ripped completely out of context these statements in many cases to create an impression that's the exact opposite of the truth, so that what you're seeing is a complete and total lie. It's a complete and total fraud. And the media buys it, but not maybe as much as they used to. CNN is prohibited from ever using the term the big lie again. I wonder why. I wonder why. We're getting closer. They are prohibited, totally prohibited, from using the term the big lie. They are not allowed to use it anymore. You know why? Because they know that the big lie is actually the big lie in reverse. And they have great liability. Maybe it's turning. I hear that CNN is turning. There's nobody watching them. They're saying, we have no choice. We have to turn. Nobody's watching CNN. We witnessed a now familiar parade of cynical politicians seeking to exploit the tears of sobbing families to increase their own power. This rhetoric is highly divisive and dangerous, and most importantly, it's wrong. It has no place in our politics. The fact is, there will always be sick and demonic souls who wish to harm the innocent and see malice triumph over good. And you've got to stop it. You've got to stop it. In times of hardship, crisis, and turmoil, these core American freedoms have always been attacked by those who wish to turn citizens into subjects and take more power for themselves. But thankfully, our nation has always been blessed with patriots who know that our rights are given up if we let somebody do the wrong thing. It's very simple, it's very precious. But we live by the hand of Almighty God, and that no government can ever be taken away from us. We are going to preserve our heritage. We are going to defend our rights. We are going to protect our communities, protect our schools, and protect our precious children. We are going to secure our liberties for ourselves and for every future generation. And together we will make America stronger, prouder, freer, and greater than ever before. The spirit of America has never been found in the vast halls and marble buildings of Washington, D.C. It has always lived in the places of worship. And most of all, it has always lived in the hearts and souls of the American people. It was Americans of faith who founded this country. It was Americans of faith who built this country. It was Americans of faith who are going to save this country. If we're going to save our country, this is what we have to do. Throughout time and down through history, American freedom has always been defended and preserved by citizens like you. You are the backbone of our movement, and you are the backbone of our country. You know that. It has always been American believers who have advanced progress, worked for justice, safeguarded liberty, and uplifted the conscience of our nation. As law and order conservatives, we have no higher goal than to reduce violent crime by the greatest degree possible. And there is no mystery as to what is required, but we must act. If America had a proper approach to policing, prosecuting, and jailing, we could cut violent crime in our major cities by much more than half, and it would take place almost immediately. When they started knocking down statues in Washington, D.C. and other locations, I watched this in amazement. Lincoln, Jefferson, Washington, knocking them down. I felt I had a political and moral obligation to allow Democrat mayors and governors to run their cities and states when it came to crime and riots. In my own mind, I was allowing the Democrats to show how they would handle the situation And when it got out of control, I got involved. But if I ever do it again, namely run for president and win, I would no longer feel obligated to do it that way. I would crack down on violent crime like never before, which is the way I would have liked to have done it the first time, but in a certain way, I'm glad I didn't. And we've now seen what the Democrats do when they're left to run the cities. So now it has to be done right.
Together we're going to fight for a future that is pro-family, pro-faith, pro-freedom, pro-life, pro-police, pro-Second Amendment, pro-science, pro-woman, and 100% pro-American. With so many proud, hard-working patriots who love our country, cherish our history, and live by those timeless words of our national motto, "In God we trust." And we believe that America's destiny depends on upholding the Judeo-Christian values and principles of our nation's founding. And above all else, we know this: in America, we don't worship government, we worship God. These are the values that sustain our movement, and these are the values that sustain our nation. But today, each of these principles is under tremendous threat, a threat like never before. These people are taking a sledgehammer to the very foundations of our free society, trying to destroy freedom of speech, trying to crush organized religion, you know that, trying to shred our Constitution, trying to demolish the rule of law, and even attacking the rights of parents to raise their own children the way they want them raised. Everything we hold dear, every last tenet of American tradition is under merciless assault from the radical left. Did you ever see such hatred toward us? And all we want to do is a good job. We want nice homes. We want great education for our children. We want strong military. We want strong police. We want not to defund the police, and you see what happens. We also want low taxes. We want few regulations. We want so many things. The radical left movement that is attacking our nation is driven by a spirit of anger and hatred that most of us can barely comprehend or understand. These extremists are consumed by resentment, envy, intolerance, bigotry, malice, and even rage against nature itself. This is not just a political problem, this is a spiritual problem. For the radical left, politics has become their religion. It has warped their sense of right and wrong. They don't have a sense of right and wrong. True and false, good and evil. Before they try to change our nation, the left-wing fascists need to change themselves. It's Common Core 2.0, the idea of creating a national civics curriculum controlled by these communists and socialists, is madness for the United States of America. They call it civics education, which is nothing more than a fake name for radical left indoctrination. We have enough of it. The current education system is so upside down that school prayer is banned. You can't talk about the Bible. Our children are captives to unhinged Marxist educators who are pushing inappropriate sexual, racial, and political material on our children from the youngest possible age. They're not old enough to think. You would not trust these people to babysit your children for 30 minutes, and we should not let them educate millions of American students 6 hours a day, year after year. But we can't let it happen. We can't be fooled. Enough is enough. Every conservative in the House and Senate needs to unite to kill this bill and to kill it immediately, but we can't stop there. It's time to finally and completely smash the radical left's corrupt education cartel. It's totally out of control, and there's only one solution. At long last, every parent in America must be empowered to opt out of this indoctrination. The Republican Party must become the party of parents' rights. Sadly, the public school system has become an arm of the radical Democrat Party. They are trying to begin their recruitment process by the age of 5 and younger, and the sooner Republicans wake up to this, the better. We need smart people in education, and we need tough people, and we need people that aren't afraid. That's a big part of it. There's so many people that are afraid. They're smart, they're tough, they have good policy, but they don't have courage in many cases. We need courage, we need courageous people. You're not going to win. You can be smart, but if you don't have courage, you're not going to win. We've seen that recently. People have no courage. It seems to be a lot of Republicans with no courage. There is clearly an effort in these schools to push gender confusion and impressionable young children without parents' knowledge or consent. That's what's happening. In a fair world, the schools that are forcing sexual propaganda on kindergartners would be investigated. Likewise, every federal bureaucrat who was complicit in this travesty needs to be told, "You're fired." Did you ever see that show? Pushing woke gender ideology. Woke gender ideology. Think of it. On young people is nothing less than child abuse. And when Republicans retake Congress, they also need to crack down hard on Big Pharma for giving puberty blockers and other dangerous drugs to mutilate our children and our youth. Let's make America great again. What are we doing? We're wasting all of our time and energy. Together we put America first, and we put American families first. We are going to fight for the values we cherish. We are going to fight for this nation that we love so much. And then, in 2024, we are going to take back our magnificent White House.